Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the New Haven Independent Vlog News Summary, direct from our newsroom, otherwise known as my compost heap. Let's see what stories we're working on this week. Stop and Shop. Supermarket, you've been following their label troubles. They're arguing over health care, and it's not just going to be Stop and Shop. That's what it was at Sikorsky. That's what more and more disputes are going to be until companies like Stop and Shop learn from, of all companies, Walmart. Yep, Walmart. I said it right. You heard it right. Walmart just got together with one of its biggest foes, the union headed by Andy Stern in New York, the service workers, and they're together lobbying the government for universal health care because businesses are getting slammed by this, workers are getting slammed by this, all our families. Businesses in the past, dating back to Harry Truman, have fought universal health care, thinking it was somehow socialistic. Now it's driving them into the ground and creating more of these disputes. You got to get together. No permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. What else are we working on this week? Let's see. Look at this, a bank book from New Haven Savings Bank. Blast from the past. Kind of a happy feeling. We know that bank's not around anymore. It's now New Alliance, bought out by one of these crew that wants to keep selling it bigger. But we will be able to be proud once again to have a local bank book. There's a story on our independent website now about First City Bank. That's the tentative name. That's the bank that was created from money that New Alliance Bank had to pay when it took New Haven Savings public. A bank that's going to be a community development bank, like the ones in Chicago and D.C. and other places, Milwaukee, that is dedicated to helping city neighborhoods thrive and loans to blue-collar families to own homes, start businesses. So starting this summer now, we're told by Chandler Hauer, the new president of that fledgling bank, in the summer, early fall, that bank might be opening for business in New Haven, and we could all move our deposits there to support a hometown bank. Speaking of banks, let's see. Is this cottage cheese or ricotta? Close enough. Cottage. Speaking of cottage, hopefully you've been reading on the independent site about 18 Cottage Street, the site of an outrageous real estate transaction. A widow died, was leaving her money to crippled children and children with cancer. Instead, the lawyer handling her estate sold it to his buddies for a lot less than most people, including the city, think it was worth. Now they're reselling it for a lot more and pocketing the difference. Well, our stories talk about all that's happening with that case, but there's a bigger question with who gets hurt. We know who gets hurt here, which is a fund for crippled children, quote unquote, and children with cancer. But so often, this kind of transaction happens that people who do this don't even realize it's wrong. Because so often when these inside deals happen on foreclosed property or estate property that lawyers are unloading, they and their realtors will sell it to their inside buddies, not necessarily to get the most possible money. And no one usually raises a hue and cry because it's usually the bank that gets hurt. And I'm not usually feeling sorry for banks. But you're talking often $50,000 or more at a time that these banks are getting cheated on these deals, and they're either too big or too busy to worry about it. But it gets passed along to us eventually in the form of fees or other costs that they have to pass on. So this kind of inside game is revealed as dirty in a case like this if the facts shake out the way they're looking to some people. But business as usual is the problem. What else we got working on here? Oh, this book, I hope it's not late. I hope it's not a late library book. But they're feeling pretty happy at the public library these days. They started a year ago fundraising drives of citizens who care about public libraries. They raised $1.4 million just from everyday people in New Haven to build up the libraries in town, like the new tech program they have for kids learning computers at the Stetson Library. There's all sorts of great stuff they're going to do. They're still raising money, and our hats are off to the New Haven Free Public Library, which is thriving better than ever. Until next time, this is the New Haven Independent Vlog News Summary, and remember, always pick up your trash.